I'll jump in with the demo. All right. So some of you have already been seeing this because if you have DBT set up and you're logged in as an admin, this new little tab here automatically shows up for you. For anybody who's not an Omni admin, this is behind a feature flag, but we're now ready to start turning this flag on for people, and that's the DBT IDE. I demoed a version of it a few weeks ago. It's now ready to get some use. So one of the big issues from before was performance, and a lot of that has been cleaned up now through various means of caching and optimizing the way that we pull stuff. So all of the expansion and seeing what files there are is going to be pretty instantaneous because this whole section here is cached, as well as you switch between files, that all gets cached. Every 5 minutes, the cache will expire. We may have to do a new git clone, which can be slow if you have a really big repository, but then for another 5 minutes, it'll be fast. So as we kind of get more usage and see what performance issues we run into, obviously a lot of this can be improved even further. And then one of the cool things is that if you open a model, this little open in workbook button will appear there. Click that and it opens it for you in a DBT workbook, where you can then run it, make changes to it, push it. One thing that's not done yet, it will be coming soon, is that this will not have the correct file name, but the workflow should be: you open a model, you open it in a workbook tab, you make changes to it, you can then push it and have like a full development workflow on your DBT model. And then one thing that's in progress, coming soon. So this is my development environment. If you can see, I just switched tabs. I'm not sure if I'm only sharing one tab. But the syntax highlighting. Thanks. So yeah, a simple thing, but syntax highlighting for SQL files, Markdown files. You can see this is like bolded, and YAML. So that's that.
Buck, I'm going to show one more. I just want to show one more example too for the demo of. I'm going to pull up our thing just to show folks too. Like, I'm pulling up a model here that actually has like DBT syntax and stuff, which like you showed a cool example of like you open a workbook, but it was pretty simple SQL. But just to like reiterate that we can run the full DBT model here with DBT syntax and everything. So we'll give this a second because it's probably going to take a minute, but just another real life cool example here.
This is really cool. I had a question. So if they open up a model in Omni, I know the current state is only being able to push net new models down, but is there anything we're working towards in terms of like editing a model in Omni and then pushing that back down to DBT, or like what's the workflow around that?
Yeah, so that was what I was pointing out with the when you push, the file name gets all messed up. But pretty soon we'll have that fixed to where you can edit an existing model. And the workflow would be, you start from this DBT IDE, you click to open it in a workbook where you can then edit the SQL, you can preview the results. Once you're ready, you push, it's going to push it to the same model in your repository. It'll make a pull request in GitHub. You then merge the change in GitHub and wait for your production DBT build to actually build it into your warehouse.
That's awesome. Thank you.
For the query that Ariel was showing there with the config and stuff in it, when you hit run, like that's just running the SQL query, right? As opposed to doing a DBT run command and like building the tables.
Right. It's not building anything. So if you have refs, your models depending on other things, and they don't exist in your warehouse yet, you'll get an error. But otherwise, it is compiling the Jinja and the SQL into a runnable SQL query, and then executing that SQL query so you can preview the results.
I just want to give a quick plug for the site to hop, but this has been super, super useful for getting people set up on DBT as well. I know I was telling Buck this the other day, but like being able to go and really look at like people's project file and the macros, and I'll see that alongside. So like definitely dig in on the SE side. It's been really, really useful and just a super, super great add-on. So thank you.